Welcome to the season 2 finale of Awaken Now What. I'm your host, JR.
And I'm your co-host, Helen. This is the podcast that illuminates your spiritual awakening and ascension.
Yes, we've made it through 2 seasons, Helen. Can you believe it?
It's so awesome. Thanks to you guys and listening to us and giving us all this space to share with you what you might need to know.
Yes, and we are going out with a bang. Today, this is the much anticipated episode. We will be talking about twin flames. And back with us again is Miss Teri Smith. Let's welcome Teri. Hey Teri, how's it going?
Welcome back, Teri.
Hey guys, it's for me back. Yeah.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, tell the listeners what you've been up to since they last heard you.
I just have been working at my day job because even though I'm going through Ascension and I may not be fully in 3D, I still understand the 3D reality of I gotta pay my bills like everybody else.
Like everyone else.
So I just have been working and kind of building up my practice a little bit more too.
Oh, good.
For those who don't know, I might as well just spill it out. I'm a psychic medium. And I'm also kind of a mentor / coach for some people. And that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
She's my mentor and coach, people.
Yeah.
She's my mentor and coach as well. So twin flames. The term twin flame has been, right, where do we begin? The term has been sensationalized, glamorized. Everyone and their grandmother has a twin flame, it seems. So we just want to help bring some clarity. We want to help shed some light on twin flames. Now, we'll go over, there's many, many different interpretations of what twin flames are. We'll go through most of them, but Teri, what's the main interpretation of what the twin flame is?
I think it's a soul who's already been through the graduation process, meaning that they've already ascended. Mm-hmm. I think that they are people who have volunteered to help this planet to ascend. Number 2. Number 3, you either know you're a twin or you're not. And I think I'll go into discussions like I think how I figured out that I was a twin. Mm-hmm. And I also think I'm also a fan of Andrew Bartz's explanation of it.
Right.
I think it's 2 different. Everyone's like, oh, it's a twin soul that splits. That's not what I was told by the angels, I guess I should say. Mm-hmm. How it was explained to me was that we come from different soul groups, so to speak, and we kind of come in to overlap like this, right? Mm-hmm. To make up another soul group is mm-hmm. kind of how Andrew Bartzis explains it, and that's the definition that I personally like.
Right. Yeah, I had a session with him.
I think
I had a session with him where he said that exact same thing. Where, sorry, I have a cat here, people. It's 2 different people coming from 2 different soul families who come together to form a new soul family and a new soul group.
Correct. And Lisa Renee would explain it and I like her definition of how she explains the flame. Mm-hmm. It's basically like when you go into Hieros Gamos, which is sacred union with God, essentially.
Okay.
There's, she calls it like the founder flame between Mother Goddess and Father God in regards to that. How the heart then ignites this flame and then it ignites the kidneys in a triangular situation. And then after the flame is ignited, then your soul sends out the call for its soul genetic twin, your soul's match.
Wow.
That's how she explains it.
Wow.
So that resonated with me because my spirit team was telling me that it's a flame that is split.
Right.
It's not necessarily a soul that is split.
It's a flame. Right, because
it's a flame, and not every lifetime you ignite that flame.
Right,
Wow.
not that right.
You know what I mean? So like you can still be a twin. I mean, I believe in reincarnation and whatever. So you could still be a twin. You come down here, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do my job, blah blah blah. But you may not ignite that flame.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called twin flame.
Wow.
So that's how I feel that the definition is.
Right, because all the mainstream narratives and teachings, it's upon incarnation, one soul spark splits the soul into two whole souls. That's how mainstream spirituality kind of tells it. But there's more to the story. And
right.
You sent me this video. It was someone undergoing past life regression. I think it was, and the practitioner was asking
was it TikTok video?
The person questions about twin flames, and what it said was the soul split was the original soul was so powerful that external or evil or negative forces. It was a TikTok video that you sent me. That the soul was so powerful that evil forces split it so that the evil forces were then at an advantage.
Oh.
That's also one interpretation that kind of resonates as well. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if it was split by negative forces. I don't really know. I think there's just so many different interpretations of what it really means that like I don't think nobody really knows what it means. Right. Well, I mean, I don't think there is no one person who's like, oh, I'm an expert on twins. Like,
right. There are people that claim
you know
to
what I mean?
Like,
like
people that claim to be.
There are people who claim to be, but like I have a friend who, I was texting you back and forth, JR, about, and she is in the twin flame realm, and she understands energy in a way that like nobody's business, right? And just how she has explained to me, like, it's a frequency, there's different vibrations, there's also different issues that come up, like if you are an actual physical twin, but then you also are a twin flame. If you were a twin in utero, she was telling me there's issues with that. So she's kind of taken a pause from working on people, she said, and she's just working on buildings and nature.
Right. You did tell me that.
Which I found funny. But anyways, I think that could probably segue us into where do you want to go to next? Like into like us talking about what really the shadow is.
Ooh,
I really think twin flames. I think that twin flames are really here to help usher in and build in and reignite the organic Mother Earth blueprint.
Right, and that brings us into our next bullet point was the mission.
And getting people off the beast, what we would call the beast timeline, right? That's basically why I personally think twins are here. I think majority of people who say that they are twins probably aren't twins, because most people that I know who are twins are like from my hometown, and none of my friends know that they're twins. It's really fucking fabulous. Like it's interesting to me. Like there are some people who they don't know that they just carry the frequency and they're just running around and they actually are with their twin, not knowing that they're with their twin. You know what I mean? Because like if it's not like my friend's parents are total twin flames, and they were just normal people. He was an executive for a Fortune 500 company. She was a stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? They raised 4 kids and they keep it pushing. But I'm like, okay, they are twin flames. I would say like they are like the first wave, the boomer wave, if we want to talk about waves and stuff.
Right.
In regards to that, you know what I mean? So I think they kind of were like my first example of energetically what it looks like to be twins enshrouded. They would just tell you that they were soulmates. I mean, they know that they are each other's soulmates. They got married like in their 20s. They've been married like almost 50 years. And, they'd be like, this is my person. We're soulmates. And I'm like, you're a little bit more than that.
Our friend Gina on Discord actually brought up, she's done some twin flame research, and she brought up an amazing point. Hi, Gina, if you're watching this. She said that twin flames can possibly be the inner union of the left and right hemispheres of the brain. What are your thoughts about that?
I would probably say more the union between your left and right crown chakra. I guess so. I mean, that could be the brain. I mean, I have to dive into that. I mean, that's a really good scientific way of people wanting, like, I need proof of kind of looking at that.
Interesting.
Right?
Right.
I mean, because we still are a planet of duality. I mean, you're always going to have left and right.
Right.
Like we talked about before. You know what I mean? So, I don't, anyways, I don't know. That's interesting. I'm marinating on that.
So that could be extrapolated to like any parts of the duality being in union, right? As well, like masculine, feminine.
Right. The balance of the masculine and feminine energies. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So they're telling me to talk about, like, how do you know if you're a twin? Because I feel like that is going to be like the main question. How do you know
if you're a twin?
I think it kind of starts off early. Mm-hmm. So when I was little, I always had this idea that, like, I was split at birth from my twin, and my parents just gave that person away because I was too hard to handle. Like, I'm having these thoughts, like, literally, like, at 4 years old, 5 years old, whatever. And those thoughts could have been like, maybe I was overhearing my parents talking about how difficult I am, whatever. I don't really know. But in my 4 or 5 year old brain, I always felt like there's a part of me missing. I always felt that. And I always knew that the person I was supposed to be with was blonde hair and blue eyes. And it's really interesting because most of the guys that I've always been attracted to have always had blue eyes. And my friend was like, well, what if it was just Jesus? And I was like, bro, Jesus doesn't show up blonde hair and blue eyed for me. He may show up blonde hair and blue eyed for you, but for me, he comes in a completely different ways. So that's how I kind of, as I was discovering what a twin flame meant, and I was backtracking, like, okay, well, shit, how did I really know that I was a twin? And I just stopped questioning it. I was like, well, shit, girl, you thought you were a twin from the time you were little. Like, you just thought you had somebody out there who was missing you, you know, and you were missing. Right. I don't know if I talked about this in the Ascension episode. I didn't really understand what a twin flame was until during Virtue. Here she shows up yet again.
During Virtue.
The Ascendant Masters deck. Yes. I kept on pulling the twin flame. I kept on pulling the twin flame card in that deck. And then in her Angel Therapy deck, she has a twin flame card. Right. And I kept on pulling that card. And I'm like, what is a twin flame? Why am I pulling this card? I mean, it's coming up like every other reading or every reading for me. I was like, I really got to look into this. Mm-hmm. So then I started there wasn't really anything on the internet at the time. You know what I mean?
Now it's kind of inundated.
There was nothing about. Now it's everywhere. But somebody well-known popped up in my dream, and they kept on showing up in my dream space. And I'm like, why are you here? Like, leave me alone. This is going at the same time. And I'm like pulling the twin flame card. Right. And in the meantime, like, I'm dating other people. It's not as if I'm like, whatever. I then went to get a psychic reading done and asked at the end of the psychic reading, hey, this person keeps on popping up in my dream space. Like, what's going on? And I was just like, is this person my twin flame? And they're like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I literally had to I got into my car and was like, what the fuck do I do with this information?
Yeah.
Like, because I think sometimes, like, once you find out you are a twin, right? I think that people start to freak out and they want to romanticize the whole entire thing, right? And they want to turn it into like this grandiose fairy tale romance story, which it's not. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of breaking of generational curses. I believe that twins don't come in with their own personal karma.
Interesting.
I think a lot of the karma that they are clearing is either their family or they're clearing karma for the collective.
Right, right. And so, upon realization of your twin flame, if you have one, it brings up a lot of karmic patterns, karmic loops, right? That you have to heal yourself.
Yep. And it also explained the relationships that I had like in high school and why I was attracted to certain people, because I finally realized, oh my God, these people are part of my soul monad.
Oh yeah.
Like these people are part of my soul group.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and they are twins too. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting in regards to that.
Yeah, Helen and I think we thought we had twins.
Yeah.
For the longest time. I mean, upon meeting your twin, it can trigger a spiritual awakening. Correct? That's part of the mainstream information.
My catalyst triggered my awakening,
right.
actually.
Right.
Because as I'm getting these readings and pulling these cards, I'm also actually dealing with somebody who I thought was my twin.
Right, and that
or could have had the potential to be my twin, who we would say is the catalyst twin. And ironically, he's born, his birthday is the day before my twin's birthday. So, and ironically, I dreamt about this guy when I was 16.
Interesting.
Oh.
So, yeah, like I dreamt about my catalyst when I was 16, and
it's so crazy.
What's really interesting,
Helen and I both had catalyst twins.
Yeah. So, do you think the person who you and I thought was your twin, you're thinking that person was your catalyst?
She was my catalyst. She's the one that triggered my awakening. Yes, but she was definitely my catalyst. Helen too. Yeah.
Yeah, upon reflection and more consciousness, definitely.
Yeah. So I had a dream about my catalyst twin at 16, and everything was correct about this person. I don't want to give too much away because they might end up watching this, but and in that dream, I'm at the altar marrying this guy, and this guy with blue eyes shows up. I just see a guy with bright blue eyes. My little 16-year-old mind said his name, and then I woke up. But looking back on it now, I realized it was my twin.
Wow.
My true twin. Okay. Who had popped into the dream being like, yeah, you can't marry this guy. And then I literally met that guy at 22. The catalyst twin.
Whoa.
6 years later.
Like a premonition.
There's that number 6 again, bro. There's the fucking number 6 again. Remember, I got fired on the 6th day of the 6th year. Now, 6 years later, I'm reading my catalyst twin. What? I can't get away from the number 6.
Is your numerology life path 6?
Yes! It's a 336.
Interesting.
Too much fun.
It's a 33-6, Helen. Yes. So 6 years later, I meet this guy and kind of just have a whirlwind affair with him. And I mean, when I first met him, I was like, I'm going to marry this guy. Well, it actually took me the 3rd time to see him for me to be like, I'm going to marry this guy, right? And we could never get it together. And then I just went home for a funeral and was like, why don't you come over to my friend's house? And I invited him over for dinner. And I just realized I was like, yeah, I'm a completely different person. I don't even know, he's still a great guy, but I just realized I've changed so much and I've been through so many things. I was like, yeah, you are for sure the catalyst. So you gave me the clarity that I needed.
Right. Does every twin flame have a catalyst twin?
I think so. I don't know if it's a catalyst twin or if it's a soulmate that just brings you to your knees, that just causes you to go through your awakening. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I met that guy, like I said, at 22, then my Saturn return happened and all these things. And I was still dealing with him at the same time. Right. So, it's interesting. I think so. Yes.
I read that catalysts, like that's part of a role of a soul family. So it could be a contract from before we even came down. I'm going to be this person for your life.
Yeah. What was your catalyst like, Helen?
Oh man, it was bad. We had an on again, off again thing for 4 years. And it's subjecting myself to neglect, subjecting myself to like
he's the guy that sent you down your spiritual path, basically.
I mean,
right? He was a part of it, huge part of it.
Oh, a huge part of it, yes. But I wouldn't, because the big catalyst was the breakup, but the catalyst guy was just, I just let him go really like earlier this year. And so yeah, he had been around since 4 years ago. And so it's 4 years of doing a lot of generational work and self work.
What I'm noticing is the Catalyst twins, they are presented at a specific time in your life, in divine timing, that shows you your karmic patterns and your karmic loops that you have to heal through. Because I went through mad karmic loops when I met my Catalyst twin. It was a constant obsession and infatuation that I couldn't get out of. I didn't want to get out of because I kept choosing that loop.
Yeah, I feel you.
So this kind of brings me to like the next bullet point that I want to talk about is twins come in with their agreements and their mission. Say that you have a twin. Can you break that agreement and can you break that contract, that mission?
No. I just think if you don't ever get into physical union, I think you each just continue the mission, but you're not doing it together, so to speak. The mission's always there. And that's the kind of twin flame that I've always been focused on because of who my twin is. I just have always been focused on what my mission is in regards to being a twin flame and how do I keep that pushing, you know? Just like I said, just because of who that person is and whatever.
I'm going to go let my cat in again. Hang on.
It's cat.
Now it's meowing to come back in. I can't.
Yeah.
God. She's a freaking talker. Good. All right.
Is it a she or he?
She.
Or do they go by they?
Ooh. They. Let's talk about that. The whole agenda to eliminate gender. That is so. I spoke to a twin flame.
All right, let's. Okay, then let's go.
Let's go there. It's a huge agenda to eliminate gender. I spoke with a twin flame teacher. Her name was Dr. Harmony. I'll hold up her book. It is Twin Flame Codebreaker. I had a session with her about 2 years ago about the twin flames, and what she said is, in the future, people are going to become their own twin flames and take on this somewhat androgynous look where they don't look purely male or purely female. And I was like, that sounds a little off. It sounds like some sort of propaganda.
That's the Andromedans. I'm like, that's just the Andromedans coming down here wanting to make everybody Andromedan. I'm like, that's not what this planet is for.
No. Androgynous.
This planet is for male and female. And if you want to associate being whatever gender you want to associate with, that's fine. Like, that's the question that you need to be asking ourselves is, who is that agenda serving?
Right. And we know many times over the past millennia that the truth has been inverted many, many times.
Oh, 100%. For sure.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
I mean, that could be possible. I mean, I don't know, but that could be like a million years from now.
Yeah.
Right.
I think what a lot of people need to focus on is if you're a twin flame and everybody's talking about, I'm going into 5D, you're not going into 5D, unfortunately. You could be carrying 5D frequencies, but you're still living in a 3D reality. Like, the point of this planet is to get people off of the beast timeline, which is artificial intelligence, which is the shadow.
Right.
So you and I had a discussion about this, Helen. JR and I had a discussion where I discovered I don't do shadow work. If you're a twin flame and you're like, I gotta like merge my stop. There is no merging with your shadow. There's nothing wrong with you. Like everybody's like, there's all these things wrong with me. And blah. No, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. What the shadow actually is, and a lot of people are like, I do shadow work. You guys, it's a psyop. It's a fucking psyop, and it's artificial intelligence. So not only is it propaganda, but if you are a healer out here, you're listening, and you're telling your client, I need you to merge with the shadow, like that's really dangerous. That's just my own personal opinion. And because you're having people actually merge with what I've come to realize is that people are actually merging with false artificial timelines. And what people don't realize is like where we are right now with what we would call like soft disclosure, right? I've been getting all these clips from like the X-Files and all these different TV shows that we're talking about the times that we're in now. What people don't understand is that those movies like The Matrix and The Terminator were made 30 to 40 years ago to pre-warn you to where we're headed. Everybody's like, oh, we're in a simulation. No, we're not. Like, this shit is real, okay? You can't be like, oh, we're in a simulation and then have no compassion or empathy for somebody who has just lost a loved one. Because that is real when people die. People bleed here. People get hurt here. It's real. Like, we have to stop saying, oh, it's not an illusion. What is the illusion is your reaction to it. That's the illusion. But at the end of the day, I have hurt and pain from the fact that my mother died when I was 16. And you can't tell me that, oh, we're in a simulation, you're going to be okay. Bitch, no, I'm not. Like, that's where I find where the New Cage community has really kind of almost gotten into psychosis with a lot of the things that people are teaching, a lot of the things that they're saying, because it's not true. They are trying to get us into a simulation. That's what people don't realize. They are trying to get us into the Matrix. We are not living in the Matrix right now, people. They're trying to get us into the Matrix. That is why twin flames are here. Twin flames are here to be the Neo and to be the Trinity. That's why that's why twin flames are here. I haven't seen the new movie yet, but from what I understand, he comes back.
I enjoyed it. Whatever. I enjoyed it.
It turns out that she's the one. She's really the one that breaks everything. Sorry, spoiler alert for people, right? But there's a reason why it's male and female, or male energies and female energies, masculine, because Neo and Trinity are both very androgynous looking, so that's correct. But they both are carrying the frequencies of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, right? Eventually, and it's talked about this in the Bible. Eventually, and this is where I'm gonna have to now you're gonna really. This is now where I'm really gonna come out. This is where it comes out that it's actually in the Bible. It's actually Mother Mary that destroys the devil, or that destroys Lucifer. People forget that, right? She comes down from heaven in her gold robe and shines her light. That is who the carriers of twin flames of the divine feminine are supposed to be, whatever body you are in. And this leads to the solar feminine. Okay? This is the return of the solar feminine era. And Lisa Renee and an old teacher of mine were the only two people, and myself. I have the journal when I got the download of this is about the return of the solar feminine. This is part of the reason as to why I don't do any sort of moon rituals. I think I talked about that in the Ascension podcast. I don't do moon rituals because, number one, that moon is not original to this planet. I'm just going to say it. I don't know what that thing is in the sky.
It might be a hollowed out.
I don't know what it is.
Moon. Right.
But
satellite.
It's about if you know you're a twin flame and you know you're carrying the feminine frequencies, or mostly are carrying the divine feminine energies. You're here to be the solar return. You're here to actually be the sun. That is the sun. S-O-N or S-U-N.
So
that feels so beautiful. Like my body's really responding, like just lovely. Like maybe it's my Leo rising talking, but I think it's so cool.
Yeah. So stop telling people to do shadow work, because that's giving into the artificial intelligence and the negative agenda, whatever that negative agenda you think is or is not. So as I was telling JR, as a healer, I pull the junk out of people. And I was talking to my friend who I was talking about earlier, who, you know, she works on people, because I was asking her about this. I was like, well, let me check it out with her, because she was the first person to wake up that I know of. And I said to her, I go, do you do shadow work? And she goes, no. She doesn't do shadow work either. Right. She goes, I just pull the junk out of people. Right. And I was like, oh, bro, I'm like, I do the same thing. And I got her thinking. Then I told her my theory that I think everything that's shadow and dark is actually artificial intelligence. And it's AI. And that's the agenda that they're trying to push to then get us into the simulation, to then get us living the actual matrix. So twin flames are here to stop that shit.
Wow. So to kind of expand more on the shadow work, you sent me a newsletter from Lisa Renee on energetic synthesis. And when I read it about almost 2 years ago, and it was gibberish to me at that time. For whatever reason, I read it again this week, and most of it made sense. So I want to read a little excerpt as we kind of expand on the shadow work and how it might be AI, how it might be propaganda. Now, bear with me. It's not long, but it expands on this topic further. So, sadly, the Archangel Michael Matrix is a mind control broadcast and biological weapon used to track and hunt spiritually awakening indigos, which is designed to transmit artificial frequencies that reverse the fire letter so that the Christos DNA template is distorted. The favorite groups for targeting are the Indigo 3s because of the incarnation agreement to carry polarity integration for assisting in the rehabilitation of Nephilim consciousness. If the individual succumbs to the Nephilim shadow selves, the person can be easily groomed to be a sleeper or possessed by fallen entities that are running reversal frequencies under the Michael usurpers. And then this last little bit, the clone consciousness is inverted into a shadow self that runs energetic reversals. And this shadow self clone is bonded into the light body in order to continue to feed the clone shadow version running inversions or antichrist consciousness. So that kind of hammers home the whole propaganda of shadow work. And this is damning information for the spiritual community.
And because you then have to go back to Christ.
Right. What can we do?
Which at the end of the day, most people in the New Age community are like, Christianity. No, it's about Christ. It's about Christ consciousness. Right. She said it. The Christ consciousness was hijacked. She just said it. Like,
it is.
You know, take what resonates with you. Some people they may not resonate with some people, but take what resonates with you and discard the rest.
Right.
But a lot of these ideas and things have been hijacked, and I can tell which twins have been hijacked and which ones have not, and who really is a true twin and who isn't. Right. People are like, well, Teri, how do you know? Well, for one, I see there's certain symbols that I see in people's aura that lets me know if somebody is an actual twin or not. Number one. Number two, I mostly just attract twin flames anyways, and I think it's because I am a twin. I mean, 90% of my clients are twin flames. Right. So, like, I have a couple that I work with. They're twin flames, but they're not each other's twin flames. Like, they came together to, like, have this family for their twin flame group. Like, and, you know, she's on her par to living her mission right now. Like, she's doing amazing. I have another client, she's a twin flame. She's in the industry, you know what I mean? Like, and she has other friends who are in the industry who are twins. Like, there's a lot of twins in the industry that people don't realize.
Right. You mentioned Harry and Meghan. Might be.
Yeah, they are twin flames. Right. And that's why people hate them, truth be told. Because a lot of people like, they're a prime example of twin flames, different races, different socioeconomic background. And I have just finished watching their documentary, and I'm on the last episode. I got 20 minutes left. But, you know, he first sees her in a Snapchat. She has the dog face. You know what I mean? He was just like, goes to their mutual friend, like, who's that? Like, and they always have talked about how things are kismet. But people are like, Teri, how do you know? I have a friend who is a twin, and how she explained how she always knows how people are twins are. A lot of times they share the first same vowel in their name, whether it be A-E-I-O-U, right? And also looking at people's numerology.
Right.
What are the twins' numbers in regards to their birth dates and all of that type of stuff? And then, of course, then you go into the astrological chart, which I've done research, and, you know, like, it's interesting because I'm just now getting more into astrology, like finding out like my midhaven and all these different things, and astrocartography, and like, where should I be living? You know what I mean? And I think that's important. I think a lot of people, I don't think your twin flame is, I mean, my town, yeah, you're kind of, it's weird. I mean, like I said, I do kind of cover a soulmate twin flame town. But most twins, I think, have to go out and travel. I think a lot of people's twins are not in the city next door to them, unfortunately. And I think a lot of people get stuck in this idea that if I got to stay home, sometimes you have to travel to get out there to find your true love.
Right. Wow.
If that makes sense. Yeah. And with, you know, yeah, Harry and Meghan are very interesting. I'm going to throw out another controversial couple. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are twin flames.
Oh.
But they're like but she carries the divine masculine energy because she's more action oriented, and he carries more of the divine feminine energy where he's more creative and into his thing.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, a creator. I have to give you, I can't remember. I learned that from a creator on TikTok. She's amazing when it comes to like describing like the divine masculine and describing the divine feminine. And like, I just remember watching a video about her, and she was just saying how she likes to use the Kardashians a lot as a sign of what toxic femininity and toxic masculinity manifest as, because it's very heavily in that family. I'll let you know what her TikTok handle is after when we're done, but I learned that she had brought that to my attention. I'm like, she's 100% correct. You know what I mean? Like, Kim is more, I'm going to be of action and blah, 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 but they are still twin flames. I mean, he's been in love with her for forever and what, you know, but.
Interesting.
And Jada and Will Smith. I'm going to throw out another one. They will tell you that they are in a union, and people who are not twin flames don't understand them or their quote unquote relationship, because they don't live a traditional 3D relationship where we're going to be booed up all the time and be together. And they will tell you, they're like, they have said that they are in a union. And that's what people don't understand. A union, and Mel Brand was very big on this. A union is very different from being in a relationship.
Right.
And that's where people want to romanticize. Oh, I want to be in the relationship. I want to wake up next to my twin and have the coffee in the morning with the butter croissants.
Kind of overused, right? The twin flame at this point.
What?
For the love relationship.
Well, I think what happened is a lot of twin flames have gotten together to where it ignited and opened up the twin flame blueprint.
Wow.
Okay?
What a good statement. Wow.
So because a lot of those twins have gotten together to do that, people who aren't twins now have access to the twin flame blueprint.
Right.
And can take that on even though they themselves aren't really twins, if that makes sense. So I think that's why everyone's like, oh, this person's a twin, that person's a twin. If they're causing you heartache and pain and you're crying in somebody's closet like I was in my during a birthday, and my catalyst is crying my eyes out because I knew he was never going to love me the way that I wanted to be loved, that's not your twin. So
you're talking about the merging of twins is kind of this at the point in divine timing. It's this peaceful, harmonious coming together.
Yeah, I merged with my twin last year.
Wow.
And that's the whole reason we're talking about twin flames, because I told my guides, like, we want you to start talking about twins. And I said, I'm not going to talk about twins until me and my twin merge.
Right.
And I'm aware that we are merging.
Right.
And I saw them, they ran.
Right. Well, I was going to ask, the runner chaser dynamic, is that bullshit or is that a thing?